S'il vous plaît, il faut qu'on reste dans la salle parce qu'on va faire la cérémonie de clôture et ça va durer juste 10 minutes. Please stay in the room. We are going to do the closing ceremony. من فضلكم الرجوع إلى القاعة. سنتولى الآن سنباشر عملية اختتام المؤتمر. Por favor, si podemos, quedamos aquí. Vamos a concluir la reunión. Por favor. الإخوان الأطر إذا كان ممكن أنكم ترجعوا الإخوان المؤتمرين. S'il vous plaît, si vous pouvez rappeler tout le monde à la salle, on va faire la conclusion. Non, il faut le...
We can distribute it.
Yeah, we just distribute. We just say a few words and we distribute. So please call back everyone. We just like say a few words and then we'll go. You can go. الإخوان الأطر ديال مجلس المستشارين اللي كان ممكن دقائق فقط الجلسة الختامية ونذهب إلى جلسة الغداء. S'il vous plaît, les cadres de la Chambre des conseillers, si vous pouvez faire revenir les gens comme ça, on va procéder à la clôture qui ne va durer que une dizaine de minutes. Please get back everyone to the room. We are going to have the closing ceremony. Le président ne va pas être là. Non, mais... وغادي نديروا الجلسة الختامية فهمتم. واش نديروا في الجلسة الختامية؟ صافي ماجستي واش نتسناو دابا؟ غتبدا دابا. Pourquoi les gens ne veulent pas revenir? Mais le président va venir. Il va venir dans 5 minutes. Hein? Non, on ne peut pas, parce qu'il aura de remerciements. On va changer. Please be seated, everyone. الرجاء أخذوا مقاعدكم. S'il vous plaît, prenez place. Si podemos sentarnos, por favor. We're waiting for the president. He's coming to attend the closing ceremony, and then we'll start the closing ceremony, which will not last very long. On attend juste l'arrivée du président de la Chambre des conseillers marocains et on va entamer la séance de clôture. S'il vous plaît, patientez avec nous un petit moment. ننتظر فقط قدوم السيد الرئيس وسنبدأ الجلسة الختامية. من فضلكم صبرا جميلا.
زكريا لاباس سير واخا تصوري بحال هكا باش
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I know that let me read the conclusion of the conference. There have been 2 days of very heavy work, a lot of work, a lot of energy. We have learned a lot. We had numerous very highly qualified interventions by the member of the government of Morocco, by the speakers of the parliaments who attended, their representatives, and very distinguished experts. So now, in my capacity as the Secretary General of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Mediterranean, I would like to read the conclusions and the recommendation of this unique forum. So in my capacity as the Secretary General of PAM, together with the over 450 delegates from PAM national parliaments, guest countries, high-level representatives of the governments, experts and representatives of the international organization, the private sector, the civil society, and the academic world, I wish to formally state the following. Having assembled in Marrakech on 19 and 20 of June 2026 to address the most pressing economic and environmental issues for our regions, expressing gratitude to His Majesty the King Mohammed VI, may God assist him, for his high patronage of the 4th edition of the Marrakech Parliamentary Economic Forum for the Euro-Mediterranean and the Gulf regions, expressing our sincere gratitude to the House of Councillors of the Kingdom of Morocco and to his President, His Excellency Mohammed Ould El-Rashid, for having generously hosted this very important event. Welcoming the signature of the joint declaration on the launch of the institutional structuring initiative for the Marrakech Parliamentary Economic Forum for the Euro-Mediterranean and Gulf region to become a permanent, reliable, and concrete contribution to the economy of our regions. Welcoming the landmark partnership established with the parliamentary network of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, which significantly enhance the Marrakech Forum institutional framework and multilateral cooperation. Stressing the need to foster free trade and economic cooperation, ease heavy debt burdens, and fund sustainable growth in line with the WTO principles and the conclusions of the WTO Ministerial Conference 14. Expressing deep solidarity to all PAM Gulf member states, as indicated by His Excellency the Speaker of Bahrain, attacked by Iran, and noting the potential long-term geoeconomic consequences of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Welcoming the announcement of the United States and Iran of a peace deal for an immediate and permanent ceasefire, the reopening of the strait, as well as a framework for further negotiations. Noting with satisfaction the innovative and strategic Atlantic Corridor Royal Initiative by Morocco, which aims to enhance regional connectivity and market integration, initiative for which PAM fully supports the government, the Kingdom of Morocco. Highlighting the widening digital divide in generative artificial intelligence and high-performance computing infrastructure, noting that large-scale models remain highly concentrated within a restricted group of localized entities, therefore exacerbating regional technological asymmetries. Deeply alarmed by the accelerating impact of climate change, which potentially escalate food imports in one of the most import-dependent regions globally, while destroying biodiversity and disproportionately affecting women and youth due to deeply entrenched socioeconomic barriers. recognizing that the blue economy generates nearly 890 billion of euro in turnover across our region and is projected by the World Bank to support 78 million jobs across Africa by 2063. Welcoming the landmark Memorandum of Understanding between PAM and ASCAME, between PAM and the Association of the African Senates, for which I'm personally grateful to President Al-Rashid, and the signature of an MOU between Oasis 500 and SM Capital during the forum, under the auspices of PAM and the delegation of Jordan, as a concrete example of cross-border partnership aimed at boosting the entrepreneurship ecosystem and supporting concretely startups in the PAM region. Anticipating PAM upcoming engagement at the UN Ocean Conference, the implementation of the UN Pact for the Future, the new EU Pact for the Mediterranean, and the PAM Youth Initiative, alongside deepened cooperation with FAO and the International Atomic Energy Agency, while capitalizing on the insight of the side event on the Africa Trade Agreement and connectivity of Euro-African value chains toward an integrated space of co-production, investment, economic resilience, and spread welfare. The PAM encourage a comprehensive multilateral Euro-Mediterranean and Gulf economic framework, drawing operational lessons from regional agreements, such as the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, the EU-Mercosur Agreement, the EU-Canada Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement. Promote the creation of a Euro-Mediterranean Gulf Artificial Intelligence Hub to harmonize regional digital legislation, implement strict cross-border data governance, and mitigate systemic artificial intelligence security risk and foster cooperation between the OECD AI Policy Observatory and the PAM CGS Parliamentary Observatory on Artificial Intelligence to that end. Urges all member states to relaunch public-private partnership and blended finance model specifically to deploy clean, high-performance computing infrastructures powered entirely by renewable energy. Exhort member states to integrate innovative capital tools and early-stage funding mechanisms into national economic strategy to drastically lower capital access barriers for SMEs and youth-led startups. Endorses the Seville Debt Forum outcome requesting international financial institutions to deploy targeted debt restructuring and concessional financing for vulnerable oil-importing MENA economies. Recommends a coordinated framework to study the possibility of creating a Mediterranean Development Bank based on a G7, G20 and Deauville Partnership blueprints to fund cross-border transitions. And we are already working on that, Mr. President. Call upon PAM member states to reinforce cooperation with the relevant parliamentary assembly from Africa and Latin America, and I look at President Al-Rashid to seek your support to study the possibility of framework agreement with the PAM and the parliamentary assemblies in Latin America and Africa. Strongly support the creation of a Mediterranean Charter for Food Security and Climate Change to coordinate cross-border agricultural resilience in cooperation with FAO and the relevant partners. Call upon national parliament to develop unified, climate-resilient and gender-responsive agri-food regulations that promote sustainable land and water and coastal management in line with the provisions of the Barcelona Convention and its protocols, including the one on integrated coastal management zone, to enforce biodiversity conservation while also protecting the food supply chain from climate and economic shocks. Finally, on behalf of all participants, we have the honor to kindly request His Excellency President Al-Rashid, President of the House of Councillors of the Kingdom of Morocco, to convey, on behalf of all participants, our deepest gratitude and humble thanks to His Majesty King Mohammed VI. May God assist him. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you very much. The ceremony is over. Thank you.